All right, let's decode something pretty cool today. It's like a secret language that companies use to tell you what they're planning for the future. And nope, it's not buried in some complicated report. It's all right there in just two key numbers: dividends and payout ratios. So let's break down what they're really telling us.
So let's start with a really simple but important question. You've put your money into a company. You own a piece of it. You're a shareholder. But how do you actually get paid? How does the company's success turn into your success? Well, there are a few ways, but we're going to focus on the most direct one.
And that direct method brings us to our first big idea: getting your slice of the pie. We're going to look at how companies actually carve up their profits and hand a piece of it right over to you.
That piece of the pie has a name. It's called a dividend. Just picture a company's total profit as this giant, delicious pie. At the end of a good year, the board decides, hey, let's cut some slices and give them directly to our owners. That cash that lands in your account, that's your dividend. It's a real, tangible reward just for being an investor.
Okay, but that leads to the million-dollar question, right? Are we talking about a tiny little sliver of that pie or a huge, generous chunk? How in the world does a company decide just how much of its profit it's going to share?
Well, the answer comes down to one absolutely critical number, and it's called the payout ratio. It's just a percentage, but it tells you everything. It's the exact portion of that profit pie that the company gives out to its shareholders. A high ratio? You're getting a big slice. A low one? A smaller slice. This one number is really the key to the whole thing.
So how does this actually work in the real world? Let's put on our detective hats for a minute and investigate a company's past payouts, because as you're about to see, these numbers, they always tell a story. Okay, check this out. For one particular company in 2017, the payout ratio was a whopping 84.4%. I mean, that is incredibly generous. Think about it. For every single dollar of profit they made, they paid out more than 84 cents directly to their shareholders. They kept almost nothing for themselves.
Now, if you're an investor who loved that steady stream of cash, 2017 was a fantastic year. But then, 2018 rolled around, and the company's strategy took a really sharp, really dramatic turn.
Just like that, the very next year, the payout ratio fell off a cliff, all the way from over 84% down to just 53.5%. That slice of the pie for investors got a lot smaller, really fast. So what happened? Why did the company suddenly decide to hang on to so much more of its cash?
And here's the raw math so you can see it for yourself. In 2017, they paid out almost $11 from a profit of about 12.5. But in 2018, here's the crazy part. Even though the profits grew to over 14, the actual dividend they paid out dropped to around 7.5. The numbers don't lie. This was a huge strategic shift. Now, if you were an owner of this stock, this is the exact moment your alarm bells would be going off like crazy. You'd be thinking, wait a minute, is the company in some kind of trouble? Are they worried about the future? Why are they hoarding cash all of a sudden? It's a totally fair question, and the answer is pretty fascinating.
To find that answer, we can't just look at what happened in the past. We actually have to read the company's plan. The real clue isn't in what they did, but in what they said they were going to do.
You see, this big drop, it wasn't a sign of panic. It wasn't a problem at all. It was actually a deliberate, carefully calculated move. It was the company basically telling the world, hey, listen up, we have a new plan. And here is that plan spelled out in a single number. The company went public and announced a new target payout ratio of just 25%. So there it is. That drop to 53% wasn't the final destination. It was just a step on the way to an even lower target. So what does a signal like this actually mean? Well, it means the company is changing its entire strategy. It's shifting from rewarding you with cash today to using that same cash to build a bigger, stronger, more profitable company for tomorrow. They're choosing to reinvest in themselves. But here is the really interesting twist. A lower payout ratio doesn't always mean you get less cash. I mean, think about it. If the company takes that money, reinvests it smartly, and makes the whole profit pie get way, way bigger, your smaller percentage slice can actually be a larger amount of money. In fact, in this case, even with the lower ratio, the company projected the actual cash dividend would still go up. In this whole situation, it just perfectly captures the fundamental trade-off that every single investor has to think about. Do you want that cash in your hand right now, or do you want the company to grow bigger, faster, and hopefully be worth more later on?
So you've really got two basic philosophies here. A high payout ratio that's all about immediate cash returns. You see this a lot with big, stable, mature companies that aren't really in a high-growth phase anymore. On the flip side, you've got a low payout ratio. That's a company that is betting on itself, pouring that cash back into the business to fuel expansion, all with the goal of making the stock price itself go up.
At the end of the day, you really should look at a company's dividend policy as more than just a payment. It's a powerful signal. It's a direct message from the people in charge about how confident they are and what their ambitions are for the future.
So the next time you're looking at any stock, just ask yourself two simple questions. Number one, what is the current payout ratio? And number two, what story is that number telling me about tomorrow? Is it a story about steady income, or is it a story about ambitious growth?
Because once you know how to read these signs, a payout ratio isn't just some boring number on a spreadsheet anymore. It's the first chapter in the story of that company's future. And the only question left is that a story you want to be a part of?